Man, I thought this would be the perfect gate forever, but it's not. We need to change it out. The only problem is I don't want to have to order and ship one of these all the way across the country, and I want to be able to rack it. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to show you how you can make a gate out of any ordinary panel using the Instagate kit for use with aluminum fences. So if you've ever needed to widen a gate or you need to rack a gate, this kit will allow you to do both of those things. We have a 5-foot opening here, and really what we need is it to be about 6 feet wide so that my riding lawnmower can fit through here with the bagger and not having to disassemble the entire bagger every time we come through here. So today what we're going to show you is a couple different things. We'll show you how we use our no-dig iDrive power system post to drive through the concrete so that we don't have to excavate or cut out a huge chunk of the concrete here. And then we'll show you how to build a gate out of an ordinary section. And the other thing that I'm wanting to get rid of forever is this right here. Now, this is a pool latch. It's really great if you need a pool, but as you'll notice, we don't have a pool. Having this latch that nobody knows how to work is really a pain, and I hate it. And so we're gonna change the latch out at the same time. I don't know why it's not common sense to just lift up on it and open the gate, but it's not, and people struggle with that. We're gonna get rid of that thing once and for all. The first thing we have to do is disassemble everything that we don't like. So if you're disassembling most aluminum fences, residential aluminum fences, what you're gonna need is a 1/4-inch nut driver bit. With a 1/4-inch nut driver, you can basically disassemble the entire fence. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to use these hinges or some different hinges, so we'll just wait and see. Okay, this is a great latch. I have nothing against the latch. It's just I have everything against people not knowing how to use it. I'm just trying to decide the best way to deal with this post. It is kind of grouted in there, so I think the best thing to do is probably use an angle grinder. We'll just chop it off really close to the concrete, maybe dish it down in, and when we fill off the hole right here with some hydraulic cement, we'll just cap it off with a little bit of hydraulic cement. It'll be flush, it'll look nice, and work perfectly. Perfect. Now it's below, and I can fill that thing up, make it all pretty. Nobody's the wiser. Well, other than a little bit of different color. We can handle that. All right, so my panel is right here. So with this panel being a little over 6 feet long, I can make a gate that is actually a little over 6 feet long. So we can make a gate opening that's probably about 75 inches. Now, some of the things you do have to know if you want to order one of these kits is you will have to know what brand of aluminum you have. That, or you will have to provide all of the dimensions for these holes. We would need to know all these rail spacings if you don't know, but once we know all the rail spacings, that's important because this has to be able to route and then slide on there just like that. There's a lot of good reasons to do this if you're a smaller contractor. Sometimes we need a special gate width and they don't make it, or sometimes we don't want to order extra gates, but we would like to be able to build the gates out of the stuff that we already have on hand, so minimizing our inventory. You could have a pile of panels back there and then just build your gates to suit. So that's one of the reasons that these are so great. Not to mention, we've got this great big beefy aluminum piece to bolt all of our hardware to on both ends, so it should make a really good strong gate. I'm gonna see exactly how long a gate we can make with this thing and how long I want it to be. Come on, Mark, don't hide too much. If you hide too much, you're no help. This is also Mark. This is Mark spelled with a C. He doesn't like to talk. All right, what do you got? A gate. This measures 73 1/4 without cutting the panel at all. And I think we'll just probably go for the whole shebang. Now, I like to go ahead and get my post set first. That way, in case anything moves and I set my post, I can just make the gate a little bit different because I'm building the gate right here. So I don't have a hard dimension that I'm working with. That's one of the huge reasons to do this. If you just like, I messed up just a little bit and my post moved by 2 inches, guess what? When you're doing it this way, that's not a problem. If you do that and you order a gate, big freaking problem. We'll put a link down below for this, but it is lockable on both sides, which is pretty snifty. And we are going to use that in conjunction with this. So we should go in that way. So we can have next to no gap here. I'm probably going to shoot for about a 1-inch gap there. I think a 1-inch gap looks really good. Now, if you order one of these kits from us, you will absolutely get this latch and these particular hinges. These are spring-loaded wraparound hinges. Because I've already got hinges on there and I've already got holes, I don't think I'm going to use the ones that we sell with this, but this is what you can expect if you order one of these kits. And in your kit, you're going to have enough 1/4-inch rivets black to do your entire Instagate. Okay, but before we can do any of that, we got to put a hole in that concrete right there So, okay, the other cool part about this whole system is the I-post. So this is an I-post. Now this is what we installed this entire fence with. We did not dig any of these holes for this entire fence. If you go back and watch this video, you'll see the I-post system with our patented method of installing this fence using 0 holes, and you can see it still looks great today. So we used one here because we didn't want to have to excavate out a great big huge hole, and we wanted to be able to hit that thing down in there nice and solid so it's got a good solid framework for our gate. But the other thing is this post was already cut to the correct length. So now all we have to do is move this post over. And if you did have a fence installed the ordinary way, now you've got a short post, you can order one of these I-posts, drive this in the ground on the other side of your gate, just like we're doing here, and all of a sudden, you don't have to go and figure out where to get one of these special posts, especially if you don't know the manufacturer or the brand. It just makes it super easy. So you can cut your post off a little bit long, as low as you can get it, right above the concrete, and then still reuse this same post as a sleeve over the top of your I-post if you did want to add a gate. Let's say I wanted to add a gate in the middle of my fence somewhere. I could do the same thing. I could buy 2 I-posts, drive them right there, make my gate real quick, put it in the middle, bada bing, bada bang, you're in business. No digging holes. Nobody likes to dig holes. Digging holes is silly. We're not going to do that.
I like digging holes.
No, you don't. That's a weird thing to say because it's not even true, Mark. If you're going to talk, at least say things that are true. Now we know Mark's not always honest with this. So we said 73 1/4. Is that what we said? We'll go for like a 1/2 inch gap on the hinge. Is that what that is? Oh yeah, that's about a 1/2. Okay, hold me on the side of that post. I'm using my tape as a straight edge is what I'm doing. Okay, that's where we're putting it. You want to trace around this post? Good job, okay. I'm gonna drill a 1/2 inch hole in each corner, and then I'm gonna go down through the middle with the big one, and then we're gonna just kind of clean it up after that. Oh, that's gonna be pretty nice. That was a really good method. Like my whole post really just almost wants to go down in there just like that. I just didn't have quite the right bit, but that made a really good square hole. This is the most ghetto way to do this ever. We are using Pampered Chef though, because I don't know where my mixing paddle is, and so we're just gonna gently, let's mix it. Yeah, I think I might have used too much water actually. Yeah, more, yep, more. Whisk it nicely so that you don't get chunks. You have to mix it in there slowly or it gets chunky. Oh yeah, this is a good consistency for pouring. This stuff you won't be able to mess with it in about 5 minutes. It's very quick. It's called Quick Rock. You get it on our website. There's a link down below. This is really good for grouting things into concrete. It's non-shrink, so you don't have to worry about shrinking and cracking. This is a lovely consistency. Oh shoot, where is all this going? I thought I just needed a little bit. It just drank that whole thing. A little less water this time. Yes, we will not use as much water. Got a little more love. Did I do it again? That's all right, we're probably gonna need more anyhow. It's very hard to guess how much water. How much is that, you asked? I have no idea. It's just enough. Drink up, little post. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh. See, it's kind of self-leveling, too. Now, what I like to do from here is I like to find the card that I don't want to pay the bill on anymore and use that. I'm just kidding. I'll use my driver's license. If you clean it up now, it's pretty easy. If you clean it up later, it's pretty not easy. Very strong, very fast, but it's also very brittle. So if you get it in a concrete bucket or something, or one of these plastic buckets, you can just basically bang the side of it. It'll break free right away and come right off. Another quick tip is if it's still kind of wet and you just want to kind of clean it up a little bit more, you can brush all this stuff off with a wire brush. Since we didn't make a hole any larger than the post, we'll barely even see that we messed with the concrete at all here. I don't want anybody slipping and falling that. I'll go ahead and brush that so nobody slips on that smooth spot. All we're doing is trimming this so that it sits inside the post somewhere. Although my initial intention was to drive this thing as deep as it would go, we landed on top of a rock here. We're going through concrete. We have it grouted in. Everything's going to be more than sufficient to hold the weight of this gate, especially on the latch side. So rather than going through that extra frustration, we just said, that's good enough. We're good. We know we have all that hydraulic concrete, bonding that to our actual concrete. This post will go nowhere. So because we have already had a latch on here, we are going to have these holes. Now I will do my best to cover these holes up, and I'll probably put my latch right here. I don't think we'll probably see any of these holes. However, these two holes up here, I'm gonna probably see, but I don't have another post. And you know what, it's on the inside of the gate. I'm never gonna see it anyhow, because when the gate's open, I'm not gonna be like, oh wow, there's a couple holes. I'm gonna be walking through it. So I'm fine with that. This is my fence. I don't need to wait a couple days to get another post. I'm just gonna use this one. 23 1/4. Okay, now I need to make my little notches. That one and that one. So this is the other nice thing about this particular system, is that we didn't have to do all this and fit this panel in here when this post is all wet and floppy. We can wait until all the posts are set and they're all firm, put everything together all at once at the end. Would you look at that? Look at that, we just did that. But that's not what you came to see. Let's get moving. This is my master plan. You see that, how that master plan was to cover up these? Because yeah, that's all gone. That's gonna be gone. That's right there, boom, done. Just make sure you put your latch on the right side. Since we put the latch on the inside, the gate will swing this way, which is what I want it to swing, because most people are cutting through here and then they have to open the gate the least amount of distance to get all the way through here. If I put it over here, they gotta walk then all around the sidewalk, and it's a big problem. So think about the way you hinge your gate, because that can matter. It's typical to make it swing outward. This just made a little bit more sense in this particular case because of the curved sidewalk, but always be thinking about how you're gonna hinge your gate. Here, let's just put this in the opening, make sure we're good. See, that looks really good. So we got a properly sized gate before I do anything else, because I could still fudge some things. These rivets are really putting in the work. The first thing I want to do though is I just want to really check and see how rackable this panel is. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just hang the gate, and then we'll put the rest of the rivets on. Okay. Because then it'll be under its own weight and we can tell whether or not we need to make any adjustments. So we're just lining up the rails across the top of there. As you will see, currently we have no structural rigidity here. We can go up and down. That is by design. That's a good thing for now. It will be a bad thing if we don't fix it here momentarily. So the next thing we're gonna do before I open this gate, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a diagonal to this. And because we're gonna be more tension and I'm gonna be relying on these fasteners, I think I'm gonna go this way, because then it doesn't flex. It's actually pulling this thing apart. I'm thinking like right about there. So to the diagonal, I'm like 4 1/4 to my corner of my bar. That's pretty close, isn't it? See that? Did you see that? Look at that. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, let's do this side now. And while we do this side and rivet this side, just for extra rigidity, we will block this up. Because there's a little bit of room even in here, I'm just blocking it up so it's just a little bit high, so that when it finally hits that catch, it's not rubbing on any of this to get clear back in the back of the pocket. And when you order one of these kits, you will get all these rivets too. So you need to make sure you either have a manual 1/4 inch rivet gun, or you'll have to buy the real expensive DeWalt option. Not a great option if you're only going to use this once. A manual rivet gun will work fine. You just have to use hand power instead of battery power. So it also comes with one of these, which is basically just an additional bump stop to keep the gate from closing so hard on one spot. So we've already got the latch striking pretty hard here. I'm just going to set this up somewhere down here, so I've got an additional bump stop and it's a little more rigid here at the bottom. Just helps prevent hyperextension and then hitting on that strike really hard. Why isn't it? That's what it was. When I put the bump stop on there, the bump stop was hitting just a little bit before the strike. And so I just kind of tweaked my gate just a little bit so the strike always hits first. And that's how you install an Instagate or make a gate out of an ordinary panel, so you don't have to order a gate from your manufacturer. If you're uncertain of how wide your gate's gonna be, or if you need to add a gate, this is a super easy way of doing it. Basically, all you need to know is your dimensions, basically from the top rail to the top of the second rail, and from the top rail to the top of the bottom rail. You need all those dimensions, as well as how big the hole is in your post. Typically on a residential fence, that's a 1x1. Not a whole lot to remember on this because your square posts are usually 2x2 on residential. Your rails are usually only 1x1, and your pickets are usually 5/8. Then if you need to add a gate or widen a gate or just make a custom gate out of any ordinary panel, then this is the kit you need. You need the Instagate kit, and the link is down below in the description. We hope that you've learned something here and learned how easy it is to sometimes tackle these projects very easily on your own, because with the I-post that we've given you, you can quickly, easily pound that with just an ordinary post pounder that you can get at your farm supply store. Anything that'll put in T-post, you could drive it with a sledgehammer if you were just that determined and didn't want to spend any extra money. There's a lot of ways to get that in the ground so that you can quickly, easily do this. And it's super easy. I think all in all, shooting this video and everything only took us about 2 hours to do the entire thing. Super easy, and you can do it on your own. And if you're gonna have a fence company out to do this, chances are they're gonna charge you at least a $500 minimum. Some have much higher than that. Sometimes it's easier to tackle these projects on your own, or find a local handyman and get him the parts and show him the video so that he can do it for you. As always, I'm Mark with SWI here in beautiful Wyoming, and I hope you have a good dang day.